So looking at worksheet 4, number 2, what's different about number 2 than there's a negative sign? Do you remember what that means? You go backwards. So instead of rotating forwards, I'm going to rotate backwards. If I rotate backwards pi over 4, it's in the fourth quadrant.
It's the middle.
It's the middle because over 4 is always the middle.
So it's square root pi.
So
Square root of 2.
cosine is the x coordinate, which is root 2 over 2. I'll just box that up and be done.
Wait, that's negative.
No, it's not. Careful, that's a really good question. The answer is not negative. The negative is what made us rotate backwards, but it doesn't necessarily mean the answer is negative.
So if it didn't have a negative in front of it and it ended up in that same configuration, it would be a negative answer.
The cosine of this angle is always root 2 over 2, regardless of how you get there.
Okay.
So if you went this way around, this would be 7 pi over 4.
Yeah.
That's still root 2 over 2.
So it would be a negative.
Well, that's the one that we're not putting in.
Oh, because it's the x.
Also, because all students take calculus, in the fourth quadrant, cosine is always positive, regardless of how you get there. All right, you try number 5. Look at number 5. Try number 5. I'm trying to locate negative 5 pi over 3. Some people can go in reverse 5 pi over 3 and land in the right spot. Other people are like, that's a little bit tricky. I think I'll just add 2 pi and know that pi over 3 is the same thing as negative 5 pi over 3. Like you land at the steep angle in the first quadrant, regardless of how you get there. Right, there's the pi over 3 route. Here's the negative 5 pi over 3 route, but you land at the same spot. And sine means the y coordinate. That would be the long side, so that would be root 3 over 2. Not negative. The negative just tells you how to get there. It doesn't necessarily affect whether your answer is positive or negative. Try number 15. Try number 15. Okay. I feel like many of you are getting the hang of this. It's okay. We still got one more day if you're not.
So if like in parentheses has a negative, like is it always going to come out to a negative number like for the answer or no?
No, it's not. Like look at number 2 and number 5. Negative determined how we how we arrived at that angle, but in both of those cases our final answer was positive.
If you don't want to go backwards, can you just add the 360 for the degree?
Yes, maybe I should have done that as well. But yeah, on 15, I think most people land on I can go backwards 30, I can go backwards 60. I don't want to go backwards 240 because I get confused. But if you don't want to go backwards at all, ever, that's fine. You can add 360, and that gets you to 330. So 330 would be going this way to get there. But you still land at the same spot. You still land at this shallow angle in the fourth quadrant, so your tangent's going to be the same. And so, yeah, there's like 3 sets of people. There's people who will always add 2 pi or 360 because they don't want to mess with it. There's people that will never add 3 pi or 2 pi or 360 because they can think backwards or forwards however much they want. And then there's people, and I put myself in this camp, where it's like, if it's easy, I'll go backwards. If it's crazy, then I'm going to add 2 pi so I don't mess it up. But you can put yourself in any of those 3 camps that you like. Which one?
19 through 20.
With a 0? Okay. Let's do 20 because tangent is y over x. Cosine is the x, sine is the y. So if we can get tangent, that means we would have to know sine and cosine. So 0 means 0 rotation. So you're right there. So what's the coordinates of that point?
1, 0.
0. Tangent is y over x.
0
And what's 0 divided by 1?
0.
0.
So I could get that.
What's 1 divided by 0?
Undefined.
Undefined. In fact, I think that's what 23 would be.
I think 21 is the same way.
Well, 21 is the y coordinate, but not 1 over, just the y coordinate. Cosine is the x coordinate. So 19, 20, and 21 are all, since they're all at the same angle, they're all related to each other. I want to do one more. It has to do with the coterminal stuff. So flip it to number 34. 8 pi over 3.
Almost 2.
So again, this is where some people can locate 8 pi over 3. Others of us are going to say, I don't want to figure out where 8 pi over 3 is. So what can I do to get a coterminal angle with 8 pi over 3?
It's in the third one.
Minus 6 over 3, minus 2 pi.
No, it's not.
Now, if you can locate 8 pi over 3, go for it. If you're like, I don't want to mess up that, I'm just going to subtract 6 pi over 3 and make my life a little easier.
It's weird because it's not. You think it's almost there, but it's not.
But either way, you're going to land on the steep angle in the second quadrant.
So flip of tangent.
Flip of tangent, or just think of it as x over y. So the x is negative 1/2. The y is root 3 over 2. And then, you know, some of you have done enough of these, you can jump straight to the final answer from there, and that's fine. The other extreme would be to write out the keep it, change it, flip it. Also fine. Sort of the middle path is, hey, the 2's cancel. So negative 1 over root 3, which is negative root 3 over 3. The question or complaint about showing your work. You on this section, you can show as much or as little work as you want. This is not one of those places where if you just straight up write the answer down, I'm not going to count off. I'm going to, I mean, if you miss it, I'm going to count all of it off.
Good question.
But I'm not going to be suspicious of you cheating because a lot of you, especially on some of these, some of them take some work, but some of the easier ones,
Yeah, I did a calculus problem.
like sine of negative 30. That's right there. So the y coordinate is right there. It's negative 1/2. Doesn't show a whole lot of work. Show as much work as you need to show. All right, answers are posted. Again, the only assignment today is the odds of this worksheet. That way you're not doing 63 problems. You're doing 32 problems.
31. Yeah, eventually.
Oh no, it is 32.
Yeah, because odds.
It's 32.